there have been reports that the Niners indicated privately to Trey Lance that he's a starting quarterback. When asked about this today, John Lynch said, no, we like competition. He said that Trey Lance is ready. And then he said he's ready to show that he's ready.
To prove it, yeah.
He's ready to show that he's ready. Great.
I actually hate that he's saying that. I understand that he's saying that. I think John Lynch is trying to create this utopia in the NFL that it's all equal opportunity, everybody gets the same. And I think to an extent it does exist. But I do think that, Trey Lance's margin for error, given how many assets the Niners traded up for him, is much larger than just about anybody on this team. Like, the Niners have an investment in Trey Lance that's monumental. And so his success basically will dictate the future of this franchise and the future of John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, all these people. And so for that reason, I just don't understand. What are you going? Why can't you say it? Why can't you say he's your starting quarterback? You clearly believe in him. You keep saying, don't take this wrong. We believe in him. We do. But why can't you just name him your starting quarterback? It's the same question I asked. If you're going to trade 3 first-round picks for a guy, 1, you believe he is going to be your starting quarterback, so you should be able to say it. 2, he should be the one featured in your face of the
there's 2 potential reasons, right?
The
one reason is that you're not saying it because you still are trying to trade Jimmy. The other reason is that you legitimately have questions about Trey Lance. And the fact that you won't say it lets people theorize about both.
Right. Exactly. That's the problem, right? That's the problem, right?
Yep. You're creating mystery.
And this is where Jim Harbaugh, if you want to take a parallel to that, what he did in 2011, given all the clouds around Alex Smith's future, the lockout, all of that, he said from day one, I think Alex Smith's a hell of a quarterback, and Alex Smith's our starting quarterback. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And every time, and there were a lot of people who doubted Alex Smith at the time. His first, 5 years in San Francisco were not great. It was surrounded with turmoil with, the Jimmy Rays and the Mike Singletaries, getting benched for J.T. O'Sullivan and getting benched for Troy Smith, guys who shouldn't even have been in the NFL. And they were playing over a number 1 overall pick, and he had to deal with all of that. But Jim Harbaugh kind of, provided great clarity to the situation because he said it's Alex Smith's team, it's Alex Smith's this, and Alex Smith led private workouts without even having a contract during the lockout after getting a playbook from Jim Harbaugh. And that was part of the reason, the 2011 49ers, succeeded in my opinion. And so I don't know what the issue is, why you can't just come out and say Trey Lance is my quarterback. Trey Lance is our quarterback.
They never did this with Jimmy either. They never were like, we don't really know who our quarterback is. I mean, last year they traded for Trey. They're like, don't get it wrong. This is Jimmy's team this year. They said that over and over and over again.
And they keep saying, don't get it wrong. We believe a lot in Trey Lance. Yeah, we know you believe in him. That's why you traded up what you traded up. So we also know he's the starting quarterback. Again, this is where I think sometimes, do you think that, do the Niners just think everybody else is stupid? Does John Lynch think the rest of us are dumb? And that's where sometimes I feel like, are you just going to insult all of our intelligence by trading that much up for a quarterback and then being like, oh, he's got to compete?
Okay, I have a conspiracy theory, and I know I'm right, but this is what football.
You're right.
I know I'm right. This is what football teams think of fans. All right, and the kind of fans that watch my show are not typical football fans, but this is what teams think of fans. Tough day today, tough press conference. It's not going to go well. Let's change the narrative. Let's release new uniforms today. Okay, a 3rd stripe, saloon font. What are fans going to be talking about? A press conference where they have to listen and think, or new jerseys? Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I do. Tell me I'm wrong. I think that's part of it.
There's no coincidence that happened.
And I think that's where I got in an argument with somebody on Twitter a little bit. He was like, "Well, fans or organizations never acquiesce to fans." Well, the owner's job is to make money first and foremost, right? That's the biggest misconception in the NFL. Owners are not they want to win Super Bowls, all of that. I don't doubt that. But their first job is this is a business. It has to be a profitable business. And it's a profitable business if fans are engaged. So they will do things like this because they want fan morale to be high. Because if fan morale is high and if you're excited about the team, then you won't see, your ticket sales will be more like how they were in 2019 rather than how they were in 2017 when there was nobody in the stadium.
Right. Niner by Nature 88 says Kittle agrees with you. Trey Lance ceiling is as high as a young Cassius Clay. Never has seen such a thing before. Yeah, that's what I said last year. Is the highest upside I've ever seen. Doesn't mean he'll be good. Potential doesn't get realized all the time in life, and wasted potential is a tragedy. But I do think I think he's off the charts in so many different. We don't have to rehash it. Eric says Niners have all the leverage. Don't want to pay him. Know somebody will. Willing not trade him. They hold all the cards.
Not really.
Not really, though. I mean, let's say that the Niners like take this all the way with Debo and he holds out. Like, yeah, Debo screws himself, but the Niners screw themselves too. Like, they're worse. You don't have Debo. You don't have picks you could have had to replace Debo. You're worse. How good is your offense without Debo and no replacement?
Not good.
Not good.
I mean,
Not
okay,
good.
let's be honest. Can we be honest about this offense? Even with an upgraded quarterback, they were putrid in the playoffs.
Yes.
That's the
So
word.
bad.
They were putrid. They were
I believe
horrible.
Debo was 47% of the total offense in the playoffs. 47%.
Only 47%.
I'm just saying that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's right, only right, and he's not even a quarterback.
Yeah. I can't
47%.
remember a significant play made by a 49ers offensive player that was not made by Debo Samuel.
I remember George Kittle dropping a pass. Remember that?
And then I remember his ridiculous one-handed catch to redeem it later in that Packers game. Yeah.
I remember Brandon Ayuk being wide open in Dallas and Jimmy Garoppolo airmailing him.
Oh yeah, I do remember that one. Okay, Grant. If you just want to bring up bad memories now, okay.
Cliff says, I heard you at the press conference. You go, Grant. John Lynch. I was doing the chicken head, dodging the dart. Dude, he was bobbing and weaving. He was like, I mean, he was Matrix those. He saw the bullets coming. He was like,
again though, like it's a tough situation for him to be in, no doubt. But if we're gonna say it for athletes,
comes with the territory, baby.
It
comes with the territory. You could have went to Amazon this year. You could have went to Amazon and never had to do another awkward press conference like that again. You could have just been like, "Oh, these two teams this week, two great teams, really tough in the trenches, well coached." That could have been you. You know what I'm saying? But you wanted to have your resume critiqued and discussed. Here you go. Utvold 1982 says, "Take the 10th for Debo. If offered, then trade back for multiple picks. The media will love Lynch and they'll win." Here's interesting. It seems to me that this year teams kind of want lower picks. And getting the 10th pick, trading, everyone wants to trade down this year. Am I wrong? It seems like it wouldn't be that.
I feel like everybody wants to trade down in every draft.
No one wants to trade up this year.
Everyone wants to trade down in every draft. Next year's draft's always better. Everyone wants to trade down, and then nobody's unable to trade down, and everybody stands true and picks whoever they're going to pick, right? Remember the 2020 draft, the COVID draft? Everybody wants to trade down. They're not sure about these prospects, and nobody traded down.
Yep, that's right. You got to have someone want to trade. If everyone wants to trade down, that means no one wants to trade up. That means no one's trading down.
I actually think the first trade was the 49ers trading down.
Who are you trading up for? A quarterback in the top 10? Hell no. Hell no.
If you're going to trade up, right, it's going to be for one of the tackles or one of the edge players. But those guys are going in the first 5 picks in the draft.
The Jedi says Garrett Wilson not worth the 10th.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so for sure.
You don't think he's worth it?
No.
What about Olave?
I mean, if Devontae Smith went 11th last year, there's no way Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave or any of those guys to me.
I don't have an opinion.
Top 10 pick in the draft. Yeah.
Ahmed says, I never thought Debo should get an extension this year anyway. Needs to prove it for one more year. His agent and friends tell him to go for more. Fine, then trade him. Fine.
I mean, here's the problem. I think it's Ahmed. Here's the problem.
Okay.
It's not about whether Ahmed thinks Debo deserves an extension.
Yeah.
There's teams willing to pay Debo Samuel probably tomorrow that money.
I just feel like it's like you either want to pay Debo Samuel what the market says he's worth or you don't. And if you don't, I think you trade him for what the market says he's worth. And the Niners are trying to do this like third thing, which is like, really? I don't think you can do that anymore. Maybe you could do that 10, 15 years ago, but this is becoming a players' league. These stars are getting contracts that are more and more and more guaranteed, more and more and more money. Like, they have power. Do you really want to alienate these players and their agent? Like, are you sure? Yeah. I hear a lot of people being like, "Nah, call his bluff." Like, why? What do you do?
What do the Niners gain, right?
You winning this stupid petty power struggle with Debo does not win
this
you
game of footsie doesn't win Super Bowls.
It doesn't. You're trying to win a Super Bowl. You're not trying to win with Debo. Like, come on. It's the same thing with Jimmy. It's dumb.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And somebody brought up my Jamar Chase. I screwed the pooch on that one, but I feel better about how I looked at receivers this year because I asked a lot more people questions about the evaluation. So I feel pretty good.
I said the 49ers should trade up for Kyle Pitts. So I mean, who's worse? Everyone tried to tell me I was wrong too. I was like, no, I don't want to hear it.
Me, because Kyle Pitts had a hell of a rookie season. He looked like a superstar. You can't go wrong picking Kyle Pitts.
It's just he wasn't Jamar Chase. If I had said Jamar Chase, I actually could have been like, hey, I was right, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I freaking didn't. Sean Barnes says, what do you think about trading Debo for Keenan Allen, the 79th pick? Keenan are in the same type of play. Keenan's good. Keenan's 30. Keenan's not explosive. Keenan's got injury history.
Keenan's a pure slot receiver too.
Yeah, nah. He's good though. I mean, you could do worse, but no. Anyway, Niner says you can ask for 2 first, but if nobody's willing to buy, you out of luck. Sorry, I can't read. Look at PSJ. Could have got a first, nah. The next year a second, and Brady, nah. Now it's a third comp. Good thing Jed don't care about. See, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Who's PSJ?
Pornstar Jimmy. They call him PSJ around here. Pornstar Jimmy. It's true. Like the Niners we'll hold on. The value will back up. No, it kept going down. And now no. Yes.
No, at some point you just have to hold your line in the stand and make a decision. And that's something I feel like the Niners don't do as well as, their division rivals. I feel like their division rival always has great conviction on this is what we're going to do and we're going to do this. No plan B. This is what we're going to do. The Niners think this, think that, think this, think that, but are kind of wishy-washy on what they're going to do until this team gets Stafford, Watson at civil case. Okay, now we're going to go all in for the quarterback. But
yeah. What's crazy is the Niners,
right? Because they've had this kind of unhappiness with Garoppolo for a little bit. The Rams had the unhappiness with Goff, and they got Goff out. They didn't care about the cap hit, and they won a Super Bowl because of it. They won a Super Bowl while paying Jared Goff $24 million. And
meanwhile, the Niners could cut Jimmy Garoppolo with no cap hit, and they won't do it.
They're trying to match it, right? Because the Rams only paid Goff 24 in dead money. The Niners want to do Garoppolo 25 and go win the Super Bowl because then they can one up.
If the Rams could have cut Goff with no dead money, they would have done it in a heartbeat. They wouldn't have been like, let's try to get 2 second-round picks because we went to a Super Bowl with them. Like, no.
Dude, they traded a first-round pick to get rid of a guy who they gave franchise quarterback historic money to and drafted first overall while trading up multiple firsts to even trade up to draft him.
And let me ask you this. Are the Rams the kind of team that would let something like this happen with Deebo Samuel, or are they the kind of team that would swoop up Deebo Samuel once he got in the squabble with his team? Now, I know they're probably tapped. They can't get Deebo Samuel, but I mean, they did this with Jalen Ramsey, right? They're not the kind of team
they found a way to sign him.
Yeah, they found a way to sign him. Out with Jalen Ramsey. They're not the team that messes it up with Jalen Ramsey. That's the Jaguars. And apparently the 49ers are in that category. The we hold a hard line with stars. And really, you want to be Jacksonville? I think that's terrible, man. Because Debo looking like Jacksonville right now.
The comparison usually is New England. That New England holds a hard
Everyone
line,
wants to be New England, right?
With starts, right? But nobody
Only
can be
New England.
I think New England has greater conviction, right? Because looking back, no matter what you think of Chandler Jones, what he achieved in Arizona, New England should have gotten more than a second for Chandler Jones, but they didn't care.
No.
They were done with Chandler Jones. They got rid of Chandler Jones and figured out how to make their football team better. The Niners are kind of playing, again, it's this game of footsie. It's the same thing with Garoppolo, and who knows what happens with Deebo Samuel. Let's wait and see. But if they play this game of footsie with Deebo Samuel,
not the front end too. I'm just saying, Belichick spends his money on the back end of the defense, not the front end. He traded Seymour.
He's different. He's different, right? Come on.
He
traded Seymour. Seymour was a star for a good bit. And, Seymour would have had 100 sacks if he played in a one-gap scheme. They asked him to two-gap, and I thought he deserved to be a Hall of Famer.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. Okay, hold on. Ryan G. Henley says, never seen Lynch sweating like that. He did not enjoy himself today. Dude is stressed out and probably reconsidering.
No, he did not. He did not enjoy your question in particular about these are the criticisms of your offseason.
It was a longer question, too. But it was a fair question, man. I mean,
it was a fair question.
You don't want to answer specifics about Deebo? All right, here you go. Let's go with your offseason in general.
And to his credit, he handled himself and answered the question like a professional.
He did.
Got to give him that credit.
He did.
Didn't need to say, don't ask me questions about Deebo Samuel before the press. You're like, what?
Kyle Green says, let Deebo go. Let my Deebo go. If we can get a good deal, I'd take draft picks. He plays violent like Kittle and could have a short career. Hasn't played a full season yet. Send Deebo to the Lions or the Jets and use picks to build around Lance. Fine. You know what I mean? You might be right. Maybe Deebo be hurt every year, and there was an anomaly. Fine. Just make a decision.
Okay, let him go.
One or the other.
Who do you think you're going to draft that's going to become Deebo Samuel? Just because you
No,
drafted Deebo Samuel once doesn't mean you're going
I
to
would have
draft
paid
Deebo Samuel
Debo,
again.
for the record. I would have paid Debo. I'm not in favor of this, but if Kyle's right and Debo's going to be hurt the rest of his career, then, I mean, better to have someone who's younger, healthy. Although you're going to replace him with Jameson
You know,
Williams.
it's
That's
funny
weird.
because people, you know, it's funny. I actually think this is
Debo
the
gets
biggest
hurt too much. Bring
misnomer.
in Jameson
No,
Williams.
no, no. Forget that. It's the biggest misnomer in football. Oh, Kyle Shanahan doesn't need these guys. He feels he can do whatever with anybody. He felt so good about Julio Jones in Atlanta in 2015 that he went and signed Mo Sanu for a 5-year contract that offseason to
Yeah.
pair with Julio Jones. He signed Jet McKinnon for this offense. He paid George Kittle big money. I don't think Kyle looks at it and says, "Oh, Deebo Samuel, I can find another Deebo Samuel." Now,
He
he's
spends
good
a
enough
lot of money on his
schematically to
weapons,
make
doesn't he?
offense works, but he understands the value of having Deebo Samuel, having Trent Williams, having George Kittle. I don't think Kyle Shanahan overlooks that at all because he paid Andre Johnson. He was on a team with Andre Johnson. He knows how special that guy is. Julio Jones. I don't know if Deebo Samuel's their caliber. They're going to both be gold jacket guys, but Deebo Samuel's pretty freaking special.
Noah says Niners view Debo as Christian McCaffrey and made him an offer as such, 16 to 20 million. Can't blame them. Similar production for just 1 year. Debo sees himself as Devontae or Tyreek. I think but the thing here is like, if the whole league saw Debo the way the Niners did, there would be no trade market for Debo. There'd be no discussion. Debo would just be someone who's, asking for more money than he's worth. But I think what we're seeing is there are teams like, oh, the Niners don't want to pay for Debo. We'll do it. We'll do it.
Yeah, of course.
I think the Jets are one. So the Niners are just being, I don't know, not stingy because they've paid for other players, but it's like, why are they? I don't get it. I don't understand why this is the player they decided they can replace. Like, we got to have a super expensive middle linebacker, but a all-pro offensive weapon who can play multiple positions at an elite level. Yeah, we could just totally replace that. Let's just get another one. Like, are you kidding? You could have replaced Fred Warner. And honestly, you could have replaced Fred Warner if that's what you wanted to do. You're not replacing Debo. Come on.
Yeah.
What? No, that's really, he plays 2 positions at an elite level. Two.
Yeah, no, you're not. Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And he's a rare player in the sense that he's already, I would say, one of the top 5 or 10 backs in football, and he had 58 or 60 carries last year.
Marcus Lattimore, the legendary running back from South Carolina, the Niners drafted after he blew out his knee. He never recovered.
Yeah,
he was great running back in college. Went to the same school as Debo before him, and said that Debo's the best runner of the football he's ever seen. So that's high praise.
I mean, Marcus Lattimore was pretty freaking special before those knee injuries. Yeah.
Oh yeah. People used to compare him to Adrian Peterson, and then he blew out his knee.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
It's true. Gabriel says, why would you trade Debo? You're just going to try to find another player like him. Because the situation is
you've
over.
Alienated him so much.
Because you don't have a choice at this point. Hi, here's my finger.
Yeah, the question is, can you rectify the situation? It's not about do you want to trade Debo. I don't think. No. Did John Lynch strike you as a guy that wanted to trade Debo Samuel?
No, he looked like a guy
even
who
in this presser,
to, like, leave and crawl under the table. Hi, everyone. My name's Grant. Okay. One Bad Niner says, Grant, next time you hear out of respect, we won't answer that. Please tell him, then what the hell are you here for? Time to hire Sean Payton and hire a new GM. I just think it's funny how people like athletes and coaches sometimes try to control the press conference. Nah, technically the journalists are in control. Like, you can sort of answer however you want, but you can't sort of tell us what to ask. That's right. You can't.
No, telling, and that's where I said it's a little unprofessional on his part to tell him what to ask. That's like you guys saying, John,
he knows
before
better.
You start this presser, when we ask you about Deebo Samuel, we want you to answer with the exact details on what went down.
Yeah, I mean, you know better, man. You were a player. You've done this a lot. You were media, man. Come on. Swan Song says if Deebo holds out, the contract would be frozen. What does that mean?
I don't know if it'd be frozen. I think he's saying his value would just remain.
He'd lose the accrued season. He'd have to be a restricted free agent. Someone would still give him a lot of money. I mean, someone would. I'm just saying.
He would still see money, but the point is, the question you have to ask yourself is, winning a game of footsie with Deebo Samuel going to make the 49ers better? And it's not.
No, that's my entire point. Gabriel says people say Deebo doesn't deserve money. He helped us. He helped lead up to the Super Bowl rookie year. Then his 3rd year, we reached championship game without a quarterback. Yeah, man, that's what he's probably trying to tell the Niners. Keaton says, although money might be able to fix this Deebo problem, it still seems there's another reason this all happened other than a bad opening offer.
Who knows? We don't know. That's the problem.
We'll never know. We'll never know.
Yeah, I
Maybe
just think
maybe
it's
Debo was like privately walking around the Niners organization like I'm never resigning here. I don't like California. I'm not saying it to anyone. He's not talking. We'd like to know, Debo, if you want to tweet it. Debo was a second round pick. Who says we can't? Vish.
the 23 other receivers that have been drafted since Terrell Owens say that they can't.
23.
Dante
Literally 23.
Pettis. Dante
Kyle Pettis.
Pettis says you
Wolf
can.
Life Wild says,
Yeah.
I'm thinking Debo staying. I think he just did all this to stick it to the Niners for leverage. I bet you a bottle of wine, Grant, that he'll sign and be happy too. Let's collab when I start my channel. I'm not making any more bets, but gentleman's bet. I feel you on that.
Why?
Right.
What other bets have you made?
My dad, he always beats me. He's really good at knowing when I'm weak. All right, last thing we learned today.
You and Bay Area Baller should do a bet. Winner gets to do a show on the other person's channel as an impersonation of them. So if Bay Area Baller wins, he gets to come on here and do this for 40 minutes. And
Hey, Grant.